the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim-flam sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another week of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. We are back on a Monday for a home show. We're kind of resting and getting ready for a big week of activity with the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival, which is going to be starting and kicking off tonight at a place with a man who was banned by Yelp. I don't know if you saw that story there. Our man.
Really? You're actually banned by Yelp?
Yeah, you didn't. I thought I texted you at some point with this news. All right, first of all, we got a lot of stuff to catch up on. As you can see, I'm a little bit dazed and confused today. The Dolphins did their usual December thing, even though it's January. We could get into that in a minute. I guess we'll start with the good and welfare department, and it's not so good, and pretty soon I'll need some welfare because you know how every year Defo, it's not Defo. Defo, as you can see, is absent.
He's not here.
We've got Lubie, and you know how every year when it's New Year's and people say, things can only get better this year. Oh, goodbye 2020, fill in the blank, 22, 21, 23. And I keep saying, you think it could only get better, but just wait. I'm in a good mood, though, because I've been eating well as usual. And but the good and welfare report. Well, let's start with you and Shirley, because you guys obviously were nursing colds and other illnesses last week. What's going on in the Lubitz household?
We're on the mend. Shirley, we went. It's funny because we got sick at about the same time, but we don't have the same symptoms. But in her mind, we have the same illness. But so we went to urgent care. What was it? Wednesday? I've been Thursday, and I think it was Thursday actually, because I had gone back from trivia, and she was whatever I felt, I was able to get up and go and do stuff. Like she didn't leave bed for 3 days.
That's a serious wallop. That's like a flu bug. And you said you tested for COVID, and it's cold and flu season. Everything is going around. Everybody I know is sick.
Yes.
Most everybody we know connected to the show is in the hospital now.
Yes, honestly. So she hadn't left the bed and she just looked done. I was like, okay. And I usually don't get worried because to me, you get over this stuff, especially when you're in our age range at least. But she looked bad. She looked banged up. And even I was like, okay, so let's do a thermometer. And I had her at just under 101. It's like, all right, let's go to the urgent care tomorrow morning. And then she's like, should we go tonight? And I was like, I'd rather go tonight because we had stuff Friday and I would rather not have to go somewhere and do math because getting the Gulfstream is a pain in the ass. So I'd rather just have it free. So we went that night and we're thinking COVID. They didn't even have her do COVID tests. He's like, look, everything you're saying sounds like the flu. It feels like the flu. And we were thinking flu. But they gave her a bunch of stuff, which I didn't realize they did for the flu. And she's taken it and she's better. I didn't have those symptoms. I just really had a stuffy nose. But for me, a stuffy nose knocks me out because it's a pain. It's annoying. Like it makes my head weird and it doesn't allow me to sleep through the night. And when I don't get sleep.
You were especially grouchy on Friday. And, we love you and your distinct voice, but when it gets even more distinct, it was we had to give it a rest a couple of days last week, and I'm glad that you're feeling better anyway.
Much better. We're both doing much better.
And let's do the full rundown. I don't want to violate any HIPAA laws or anything like that, but our friend Defo, he went to go to the doctors to fix his various maladies on Friday. He thought he was going to first take care of this foot toe issue and then get the knee injection to lubricate that knee joint. Next thing you know, he was getting, I guess, going off to the hospital and was actually admitted with an issue in his foot. And we send him speedy get well wishes. It sounds like things are, medical things. Everybody wants everything to be cut and dried. But as we have all found, as we, I guess, get older in our years, we realize that medicine is not so much a science sometimes as an art, and sometimes things can have conflicting diagnoses and you're trying to figure things out. And I think Defo is in. This is funny. Andy chiming in is like, you guys better learn how to stay healthy. Andy, man, of course, we'd like to see you on the chat line. I saw Tom T over the weekend, also is fighting some things and car troubles and other physical things. But anyway, we are wishing Defo a speedy get well. And then, of course, we got the official mascot and producer emeritus of
I didn't even know about Sarney.
Jim Sarney apparently is one floor below Defo at the local hospital, and he has some sort of, I don't know, some sort of bronchial condition. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with him. All I know is this hospital, I'll say it's Holy Cross Hospital, that I'm going to be making.
It is the one right by.
Yeah.
I would have been having Wicked every day then. I didn't realize it was really the one by
already Wicked. Texted our man Brian over at Wicked Cheesesteaks, who is a great sponsor of the Lunchbox. And I said to Brian that I'm going to be dropping by to Wicked and picking up some goodies and treats for the boys that are in sick bay. And I'll make a little visit over there after the show today, because that's the magnanimous kind.
I should go, but if I'm sick, am I someone that's supposed to?
No, you should stay away from everybody because you still sound.
Like,
yeah. And what are the odds of this? That me, Mike Mayo, the way I abuse my body, I'm the last man standing.
We just have a big week. Like, it's so funny. People have been asking me, well, can you do this week and that this week? And they don't believe me. Like, I'm like, this is going to be a really busy week for us. And I want to make sure I'm involved in it as much as possible. Phil and Kate have been great to us, and I'm really excited about everything that's going on. So I want to make sure I don't infect the goddamn world at these events. So I'm trying.
You don't have to worry about infecting it, because everybody is already infected and sick. I mean, I was supposed to have a dinner and kind of get together and see it. It's been a kind of a little bit of a gap, and kind of have a catch-up meal tonight with one Stephen Dickstein.
Okay. Nice.
We were going to check out this new Szechuan restaurant that's been getting some good buzz in the Let's Eat South Florida group, called Taste of Szechuan, up on University Drive in Lauder Hill. And I get the message from Dickstein this morning that he's sidelined with COVID. He's bedridden with COVID. I told him to get his Paxlovid, because, again, everything is going around again. And, of course, get well soon to Dickstein. Get well soon to basically everybody in the audience. I think everybody at this point is getting hit with something. And that's the perils of when you live in a tourist community where everybody in the world is traveling here from other places and carrying every goddamn germ known to man on their flights. And so here we are. We're just going to muddle through, but I'm ready for the big week of.
Okay, before we get to that, what is this band? Since he is
he
hosting the opening dinner to the thing it's going to enrapture our entire week. I feel like it's okay to start there.
Yeah. So Reno Sorbonne, our friend, Heritage Fort Lauderdale, great, cozy, little, trendy Italian restaurant with absolutely beautiful food, a great environment. They are, as usual, hosting the kickoff dinner, complete sellout, benefiting the Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. And Reno always has a good time. And but I got a mess. I forget who sent it to me over the weekend, but somebody basically, Reno, he likes to engage with people who maybe have not so flattering words about his restaurant on the review forum, crowdsourced review site known as Yelp. Yelp has been dead to me for a long time because I don't trust it. I don't like it. For a while, I couldn't filter things in the way that showed things in the way I wanted to see it, which is the most recent reviews first. They would often filter out perfectly valid reviews and yet post 1- and 2-star reviews of places at the very top that I had heard from people that happened to have been solicited to advertise with Yelp. And when the restaurants say, oh, no, thank you, all of a sudden their Yelp reviews and filters got skewed towards the negative.
To be brutally honest, my wife, as we've talked about many times, works in the digital marketing world, and she spits at Yelp. She said first of all, they have 5 employees in some boiler room, and they're they're as bogus as it gets. Like she doesn't trust them at all. She said literally that they're just pay for play. They're not actually what people think.
Yeah, and people in the business hate it, but it's one of those things where you have to kind of pay attention to it in the same way as Let's Eat South Florida. But to my defense with Let's Eat South Florida, which I helped start with the Sun Sentinel, we never envisioned it to be another Yelp where people just go on and write kind of, off-kilter reviews of have no, balance or anything like that. But to our defense, we let restaurateurs come on and defend their restaurants. And I act as, people call me an apologist for the restaurant industry. I try to just be more than an umpire. I try to actually be fair and play devil's advocate and say, yeah, okay, you're ripping the place for this, but how many previous times have you gone there and had great experiences and never wrote a word about it? Or you're ripping a place for being, sending out entrees that took an hour on a Saturday night in high season when half the staff is out with the flu and COVID. I mean, let's get some, and we have some what I call, question and answers or different countering points of view, and people who might have had a better experience at a restaurant can chime in. There's a dialogue that takes place, and in some cases there is pushback from me if I think something is maybe not the whole story or not completely
there's
fair.
nuance. There's not black and white.
Right.
There's nuance and gray.
And it drives some people crazy. I know that the Let's Eat group, look, it drives me crazy. And I'm the guy who's freaking on there, running it. But it is a useful tool. Now, Yelp, they do allow restaurants to respond to negative reviews to the restaurant owners. But in Reno's case, he liked to sometimes rate the people who are giving him 1 star, and he would rate his reviewers with 1 stars. He would have some fun with it. I found it wildly entertaining. How about you? We talked to him about
we
this.
did. We did a whole thing on the show. I would make that a segment every time we have him on.
But
reviews.
Yeah, we had him read. Actually, we had Defo would read the. We would have Reno read the bad reviews, and then Defo was reading what Reno responded. It was kind of like the Jimmy Kimmel mean tweets things. So the bottom line is, I guess somebody must have complained to Yelp about the nature of some of Reno's responses. Which, look, every major social media forum has guidelines, and among them is that you're not supposed to be abusive or harassment or make fun of people based on their ethnicity or sexuality. Now, Reno went over the line a few times.
He pushes.
I mean, he didn't do it in any kind of way that would be considered. Like sometimes people would accuse him of racism, and then he would strike back in a way that Reno is no racist, but the bottom line is he crossed enough lines enough times where apparently without warning, they just said, enough already. You have now been permanently banned from Yelp, and you can no longer respond to guests. But the unfair part is now people can write whatever they want about Heritage. Apparently, it's not like they're pulling his whole restaurant from the platform. They're just pulling his ability to respond to it as the restaurant owner. Now, I don't know how this works. I don't know if he could designate another person like a general manager to respond to him, or
why did he do that?
But the message they sent him, and I thought I sent it to you, the screenshot was, that you have hereby lost permanent, privileges to be on our platform. You can no longer, respond to reviews, and you can review the guidelines here, but we'll never explain exactly what you did or why we banned you permanently. It's a little bit frustrating.
Sounds like a load of garbage is what it is.
Look, I took things in the right way, which was he basically, I guess, posted something somewhere saying that the fight will go on, because Reno's big thing is he's tired of entitled customers making invalid or unfair complaints. And he's also tired of the customer is always right mentality, because in his mind, sometimes the customer is wrong. Sometimes the customer is rude. Sometimes the customer doesn't deserve to be treated with hospitality or courtesy, which, as a restaurateur, that's his right. It's definitely a different point of view. A lot of old school restaurateurs will say that's not the way we were taught, and we just hold our tongue. And then they also secretly say, God, I love what he says. I wish I could do the same.
Customers. There was also a form a certain level of understanding with clientele as well. That's why you could get away with customer's always right, because the customer wasn't out to get you. The customer wanted a good experience and they were shocked if it was bad. It's the opposite now. Like the customer now expects a bad experience, and even when it's good, they don't care. And that's why I actually understand where Reno's coming from. He doesn't go after the clientele. He doesn't make sure their experience isn't bad. And when they have an issue, he's the first one to get corrected. But if I don't understand these people that they're platinum sealed Yelp, like that, what that means is you're a freaking loser and you have no life to me. Like, who goes to a restaurant unless it's your job to then run home and write something? Like, no one does it when it's good. When something's good, you're just happy and you go home. So to me, what that means to me is you have no freaking life, and you're setting out to ruin people's businesses, and that's sad and pathetic to me. And I'm sorry, but like these people, when Reno would go down their stuff, he would break it down where their gripes were bogus.
A lot of time people would come in, they were like an Uber driver picking up for somebody else, and they were like sitting at a regular table when a reservation was about to come in, and Reno would say, "Can you just please sit at the bar for a minute?" And the guy would like take umbrage, and then just starts flaming away. It's the whole social media thing is enough to drive people crazy. Again, Reno, the place is small. They do a great job. He has no problem filling those seats, whether it's for a $225 a night charity dinner, or whether it's the regular menu where it's affordably priced pizzas and pastas for in the $20 range, and it's a great cocktail bar vibe scene. He I'm sure the Heritage restaurant will be just fine. It's just that he was trying to he's trying to make a stand. But I also understand the other point of view where you do have guidelines, and one of those guidelines is be civil or don't be violent or harassing to people. And if somebody leaves a bad review and he says, "Why don't you go lay down on the train tracks next to the restaurant?" That, I mean, it's funny, but technically violates the guidelines. Same thing with some of his more risque comments where a couple comes in and he's complains that the food had no taste or didn't taste good. And he said, "Well, maybe if your tongue wasn't someplace it wasn't supposed to be 5 minutes before coming in, then maybe you would be able to taste the food better." But again, these are
these graphs. Look, and that's the one thing I'm not a gripe, because I enjoyed it and I don't care what he does. He can do whatever he wants. That's the one thing I'm like, they're going to get him on that eventually. Eventually, they're being graphic and crude. In this day and age, they can say that that's against the betterment of their site, and their followers don't want. That's where I was like, okay, you can do this, but there's a way he can do it without giving them anything, and he didn't want it, and that's fine. He's allowed to be that graphic and crude, but they were going to get him. Like the stuff he does is, well, then maybe you should go.
It's over the line. I mean, if he responded like that to Let's Eat members on the Let's Eat post, I would pull him down. I would suspend him, because that's against our be civil, things. But there is a way to do it. And I try to do it often on Let's Eat, which is, poking people who are maybe not being the most fair, but doing it in a way that is not outwardly uncivil. I might say, "I totally disagree with the point of view," or, like today, here's an example on the Let's Eat group, which, by the way, it's crazy, the growth. It's over 135,000. It grew by almost 2,000 in the last week. We're getting inundated. It's like almost 2,000 posts a month now that get approved. So I don't even know how everything cuts through the noise, but the engagement numbers are freaking through the roof of that thing. I mean, it's quite mystifying. That's not mystifying. It's a nice diversion. It keeps us away from politics and God, those Dolphins, which we'll get to. But this morning, somebody, and these are the hosts I hate the most. I ordered some pad thai from a place in Coral Springs named Sakura Ramen from Yelp, and it was cold and tasteless and bad and blah blah blah. And it's like, I was like, "Oh, you ordered a Thai dish from a ramen place through a third-party delivery vehicle. What could possibly go wrong?" And I had my little fun by saying that. And then other people are chiming in. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like a ramen joint. And look, maybe the place isn't up to snuff with its pad thai. There's a lot of these pan Asian places that have all kinds of different dishes, from the Korean food and the Thai food and the Japanese food. And it's the old question of, like, if you're going to have it on your menu, then it should be reasonably good. But then again, if you get, my thing is, I wish we had a rule of, like, nobody could ever submit a review of anything off of that's been ordered from Yelp unless the review is bashing, not Yelp, I'm sorry, Uber Eats.
Yeah.
If it, like, whether it's Grubhub or Uber
I'm
Eats.
actually shocked when it goes well.
Yeah.
Like, I expect it to be, like, literally, we'll order from a place 5 minutes away. If I go get the food, it's 15 minutes. When it's through one of these apps, it's an hour. What do you think's happening in that hour? The food isn't sitting in the oven.
There. Go get it yourself. And again, I know some people have physical conditions and maladies, and they depend on these food things.
Cold. It's going to be cold. That's an automatic. If you're ordering from Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, it will be cold. Just expect it to be cold.
The only valid review when you're ordering through those delivery apps is if you're bashing the app itself for their slow delivery, or their drivers being getting the order wrong, or opening up their french fries or something like that. But as far as, like, critiquing a restaurant based on a third-party app, I think it's garbage, because if the only fair way to judge a restaurant is by going into the restaurant and eating there, or picking it up yourself. Okay. And then you have more control. You can get the food immediately as it's ready. You can get it home delivered. You can bring it back to your home immediately after picking it up. You could even eat it in the car, which is what Defo wants to do. And now some of these self-driving cars makes it easier than ever to just eat while driving. And not that we recommend that for anybody. But yeah, I mean, just give yourself the best shot of having a good meal, and don't take it out on the restaurant when something goes wrong from a third-party perspective. But that is all part of the culture now. And I really do think there is a big culture of entitlement. And, these people, there was another post on the group earlier this weekend about a woman who went in and was complaining that, like, is it me or a restaurant seriously understaffed? I went somewhere and it took a full hour to get my entree. Well, yeah, it's January on a weekend in Florida when half the staffs are out sick with COVID and the flu. Have a little understanding and patience.
Moron. Where have they been? Literally every restaurant you go to, even ones that are well run and heralded, I have not seen one restaurant without the sign at the front. Like, back in the day, it would be rare to have the help wanted. Now, literally, it's just now restaurants, even when they're fully staffed, just keep it there, because that's the state of the game. Ever since COVID, people have left the business. They've gone to other things. How many shows have we done about this? Like, where are these people? Were they under a rock for the last 2 years? Like, especially now in season, and it's a week. Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with people? Like, every restaurant's understaffed now. Literally, restaurants are shutting down, not because of business, because they're so understaffed they can't keep up with it, that they just say screw it, and they just close the doors because they're stressed out and they can't handle the intake. Like, yes, they're understaffed.
There's a lot of frustration out there. And look, I understand from the consumer's point of view, prices are rising more than ever, and sometimes portions are shrinking, and then you end up getting maybe not the best service or an experience that is longer than you'd like. But that's just where we are now. It's just reality. And if you're going to go out to dinner and you're going to see, if you're going to be going out, especially on a weekend night, a Friday or a Saturday, you just have to be willing to accept the fact that things are not going to be the quickest and maybe most efficient, and that get a bottle of wine, get a cocktail. How about having a conversation with the people that you're dinner with? I mean, this happened to me a couple of weeks ago when I went out with my friend, Dr. Nick, and something got a little kerflooey, and his entree had to be recooked. And we're sitting there for like 10 or 15 minutes while his is being redone. And we started chatting, gave him a little piece of my entree. It was just, there's ways to handle this without like making a federal case out of it. And yeah, it's just dispiriting. And you know what? I didn't mean to go down this horrible road. It's going to be a celebration of food and wine this week.
Yes, it's going to be a great
week. Yeah, let's talk about that, because great job by Phil and Kate, as usual. This thing, I don't know, what is it, 5th, 6th year, keeps growing by leaps and bounds. The quality of the talent, the food, it keeps rising. And I would say go on to vlfoodwine.com
Is anything still available?
Except there's very little left, but we do want to push our friends' dinner. Again, we were in at Union Kitchen and Bar last week with Christy and Roberto, and they're going to have a great dinner with this Vinny Tamino, a visiting chef, James Beard, recognized chef from Cleveland, and there's still a few seats left for their big intimate dinner tomorrow night. I'm going to be there in the flesh, hopefully.
Nice.
God willing, and I'm looking forward to it because I always like trying food from different visiting chefs, and there are a few seats left to that. And also the other event that there are a few seats remaining is the new inaugural Asian themed walk and roll event Thursday night at the Backyard. It's next to Revolution Live there.
Yes, Backyard. You keep telling me I'm wrong. They just got rid of the America's part. It's called, it used to be America's Backyard for like a long time, and I guess now they just call it the Backyard, I guess.
Yeah.
Backyard.
It's down there in Hamarshi. Go to vlfoodwine.com and pick up the, it might be sold out in the next couple of hours, but go on there and get those last remaining tickets for the last remaining events, because it's going to be a fantastic time. We're going to be broadcasting live from the walk and roll event on Thursday evening. And maybe I could get Nikki Mohan to come on as a fill-in if Defo is on the disabled list for a little while, but we'll see. But that's going to be, we're going to be broadcasting from 6:30 to 7:30. The walk and roll event is going to be starting at 6:30. Going to be all kinds of great Asian bites, things like the dim sum and dumplings and all that good stuff. Our friends Alex and Diego from Temple Street Eatery, the new Bayoshi Food Hall in Pembroke Pines. That's going to be fun. The Friday night barbecue competition poolside at the Hyatt Centric Hotel, that's a sellout. The bar fight cocktail competition Wednesday night, where I'll be judging, that's a sellout. And even the grand tasting, VIP and regular tickets, completely sold out. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be eating and drinking more than I should, as usual. And I don't like to use the word diet, but my I guess reorientation for better self-care will start next week. Although you're going to take really good care of yourself with all the stuff going on. VLFoodWine.com. Kudos again to Phil and Kate. Another job well done. They organize things very smoothly. And of course, we've got the actual events to come, but I know it'll all go pretty smoothly. We just hopefully get some decent weather and not any rain for the big events that a lot of them do take place outdoors and indoors, undercover. There's all kinds of things. But it'll be fine. All right. Want to take a first break, and then we'll come back and talk Dolphins? I know you don't have anything to say about that, right?
You called it last year, and it's annoying that you're right. But what's not annoying is all the fun in store today on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on a Tropical Acres Steakhouse Monday. More to come after these words.
Want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting? Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasto platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi, fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova, or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Comfort food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Oh, we're back on the Lunchbox. More drama on the Let's Eat group, but I don't even have time for that. Somebody was wondering, how long does it take for posts to get approved? And I say it can be anywhere from seconds to days. It's just the luck of the draw in terms of when admins are on there. We do have lives, but it got a little hostile on there. Meanwhile, all right, Lubie, let's take care of some business. Where was I going first? Oh, tomorrow we're going to be at, of course, the great Rappaport Restaurant Group. We're going to be at Burton Max's out in West Delray at the Delray Marketplace. I got a little note from Amber, who does all the marketing for the Rappaport Restaurant Group. She says that Bert won't be there, regrettably, but and Steve, the Buddha, it's his day off on Tuesday, but he might pop in for a special appearance. We're going to be set up outside this time because our usual perch in there is they have a huge party coming in tomorrow. So I said we're okay with anywhere, just as long as there's a plug and some food to eat. That's it. But Amber hopefully will be joining us to talk about some of their upcoming specials there at Burton Max's. It includes a new live music program from 8 to 10 p.m. outdoors on their patio on Friday nights, and also a new early dining deal there at the Burton Max's, which is they call it early dining, and it's Monday through Thursday from 4 to 4:45 p.m. You must be seated by 4:45, which is perfect for me. I like eating early dinners these days. And you get, if you go in there with a couple, you buy one entree, you'll get the second entree half off. So that's a pretty nice deal. And again, they also have the ongoing promotions there at all the Rappaport Restaurant Group, including Burton Max's, Deck 84, Max's Grill, and the Prezzo's in Boca Raton and Palm Beach Gardens. They have a daily happy hour that goes from their opening until 6:30 p.m., and that's at the bar and the high top tables around the bars only, but it's from the start of the day, which is a pretty good happy hour. So, again, looking forward to getting out to our friends at Rappaport Restaurant Group tomorrow. And then we also got a contest winner to congratulate. And this is one of those beautiful days that not so beautiful for doll fans, but for me, I didn't have to fill out any little slips of paper. There is no drawing from a hat. Lubie, we have got one winner who nailed all three components right on the button. and it was the restaurant last week. Did you know it? The Greek restaurant on the
Taverna Opa.
That's it. Taverna Opa was the name of the restaurant. And then we had in the our contest race was the ginger brew stakes for a mile on the turf, 3-year-old fillies at Gulfstream on Saturday. And the race was won. It ended up being the second choice in the betting. It was a turf race and a turf horse. The number 4 horse, and I'm looking up the name right now because I forgot to write it down. Bad part by me, but it was a fairly logical horse, yet only 5 people had it. And the name of that horse, it was the number 4 horse, was Ozara. Ozama. Yeah, there we go. Ozara. That's it. All right. But 5 people had it. Of those 5, one person picked the Dolphins to win the game. Unfortunately, that did not work out. 4 people had the Bills, and the Bills pickers had them winning by 3, 4, 7, and 11 points. So we did have somebody who hit the number right on the button, and that one is Monica Sweeney Balo. Congratulations. You got all 3 components. You had the Bills winning by 7 points. And what was the final score again there, Lubie?
Oh, it was 7, right? 21-14.
That's it. That was a quiz.
Oh, nice for them.
Seeing if you're paying attention. I think Monica and it might be her husband, Mark Balo, they've entered the contest a lot of times. And I believe this is the first win for Monica. I don't think Mark's been in the hat a lot. So congratulations, Monica. You are the winner.
Nice.
Of 2, you and a guest will get to go to 10 Palms at Gulfstream for their great Sunday brunch buffet. It is now up to a $55 value. They unfortunately, it's the times. Every new year brings maybe a little bit of a price adjustment, and it is now still a great deal at $55 for those who want to go there and check it out themselves, because it's an all-day brunch buffet where you don't have to leave after 2 hours. You get the table the whole day. You get to bet on all the great racing action there at Gulfstream, and you also get a mimosa included. They've got the carvery station. They got the shrimp, the piles of the raw peel. Well, not even peel and eat shrimp. It's a shrimp cocktail. You just eat it all you want. They got the omelet bar. Great buffet brunch spread there at Gulfstream. So congratulations to Monica. I understand some people are still a little bit upset about the rules that one person gets to put in a entry every week. It's like voting. If you're a live human being above the age of 18, you get to vote. Same thing if you're a live human being, you get to enter the contest. And okay, you might think it's unfair that people in the same family can all enter on their own, but that's the way it is. Sorry, I don't want to hear it anymore. And especially from people who have actually won the contest multiple times and have enjoyed the benefits of the great Sunday brunch buffet. So that's it. That's the rules. Husbands and wives are both allowed to enter, and adult children are allowed to enter, and that's it. I don't think there's any gamesmanship going on. It's been fair and square, especially when you see couples that have entered lots of times and never won yet. So it's it's still fair.
Are we doing another brunch bash?
Okay, good question. I think we're going to try for one.
That's a quarter, right? Did we skip a quarter? We just said screw it.
Well, what happened is because of the big Pegasus Cup coming up at the end of the month, it would usually be the 3rd month. I think we would be about the end of January, but Pegasus Day and week is a huge production, and want to take it out easy on Joe B and his crew. So instead of doing it at the end of January on that last Sunday in January, I think we're going to aim for mid-February, maybe around President's Day weekend.
But to answer your question, Lisa, that's when I will be at the next Gulfstream brunch.
Yep. So we did have a lot of fun the last one, more than 50 people there. And I didn't want to single anybody out, but I did see that there is some, complaining about it. But we set up this contest in the way we think is most fair. If you would like to disqualify anybody from entering who's won, right now it's 90 days. If we want to make it more fair to give everybody a chance and maybe exclude winners for 6 months or a year,
no.
I don't want to do that. I want to keep people.
Look, you can have a gripe. All that means is that you're competitive and you're playing, and that's the goal. So I like your gripe. Keep griping. I mean,
we give everybody a fair shake.
Anyone in that family thing, people get pissed about the family thing. I think that's weird. Like, just have your family. The fact that they're able to get their family involved is great. If you're not able to do that. I'm sorry, but like it is what it is. Like
You know what I like about the family thing, and Joe likes it too, is that when somebody in the family wins,
I'll
they
go.
usually all end up going, and they end up having like 4 or 5 paid
Yep.
brunches to go along with the comps for the contest. So, hey, that's good for Gulfstream. It's good for us. It pumps up the interest. More people get to enjoy themselves. Why not? The more, the merrier. That's what I say.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that. So some before we get into the Dolphins, some weirdness. You know who solicited me? Again, it's funny now. We reached a point in the show where I'm thankful to all our sponsors and people, express interest. We had a guest express interest in coming on through an intermediary. It's a name that we discussed in the past. A big pizza fan and a Fort Lauderdale resident, big pizza fan. He's a big fan of the Pizza Spot. He wants to come on and do a show at the Pizza Spot as a guest. He's also a seditionist and maybe convicted at this point. Roger Stone, everybody.
Oh, really? The Roger Stone?
The Roger Stone. I will break bread with anybody. I don't like to make this show political. We have had our local Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz on in the past because she is involved with food and cooking with her Clean Cooking Congresswoman IG account because she's a cancer survivor and likes clean cooking, and we had her on to talk about food and cooking. But if Roger Stone wants to come in and talk about pizza and some of his favorite pizzas, we'll allow that. We'll also have some questions for him if he wants to start talking politics. But I don't know. I don't know how the audience react. I'm from the journalism school of broadcasting, where I'll take any interesting guest, even if I'm vehemently opposed to everything they stand.
Who will they be? Like, will we just get to eat pizza with him, and then I don't need to talk politics? I just don't. I'm not going to be a platform for I almost said BS, but the whole word. I'm not going to be a platform for you to spew your lies. Now, if you're, like you just said, if you want to bring up politics, then we're going to talk all politics. Or if you want to stay away, I don't think that's two-faced. I think that's fine because we're just having pizza with a man who has a very dark past, but we're staying away from politics.
I've seen him as a guest on Bill Maher's show. He's he can be a very entertaining.
I'm just not going to let someone just do their stuff and go, do the A-Rod thing where when A-Rod lies, Katie Couric has to go, sure, A-Rod. I'm not
if you think that me, you, or Defo would just roll over and play dead if somebody would start calling the people that have been tried and convicted of charges for January 6th, calling them hostages if they're in jail cells.
That's my thing.
That stuff's not going to fly here.
It's Biden, Hitler. I'm like, yes, because Joe Biden, the senile guy.
All right, let's not get into it now.
Saying, I'm not going to go along with stuff like that is what I'm saying. So I don't need to do politics. I would think it would actually be interesting to have Roger.
We started this show and in a way the Facebook group as an antidote to all that because we are so divided now, and I think food can be a bridge, and I don't mind talking to people with different points of view over a food, and we could disagree about whether it's a sin to put pineapple on pizza, but I think a lot of our audience would be turned off. Look, at that point when we might have them on, we'll talk about all this, but there might have been primaries and caucuses run, and maybe there'll be some things to talk about in terms of results. But I don't know. I'm on the fence, but I do like eating pizza with anybody and talking pizza. So we'll see. Okay, that's for another date at another time. Speaking of pizza. You notice how I'm definitely avoiding this whole Dolphins discussion.
I mean, there's nothing to say. The Dolphins.
No, there's things to say. But
they did it again. We can talk if you want.
But talking about pizza, did you see what I did? I've been brain dead. I've been I've been tied up with some things, and over the weekend, I got one of these frozen home run in pizza. Home Run Inn, I think, makes the best frozen pizza out there. I pick it up at Publix when it's BOGO. Have you ever tried that brand, or do you eat frozen pizza at all?
I have in my life. We haven't done it in a long time.
There's so much good pizza that's really available at the drop of a hat, or you can have it delivered and then reheat it in your ovens and toaster ovens. But
I used to use Tino's. I mean, it was like $1 to $2. It was quick. It was easy. It wasn't horrendous. Yeah, I never get frozen pizza and think of it as pizza. I think of it as frozen.
It's not real pizza, but I just was homebound and I had this pizza. I threw it in the oven, and then, it's supposed to be cooked for about 15 minutes. After about 13 minutes, I threw on the oven light to check how it was doing. And it looked completely raw up top. And then I was horrified and shocked to discover that all the cheese had been dripped down below onto the bottom of the thing. I cooked my pizza upside down. And
you cooked it upside.
You missed that post?
No, I didn't see that.
Apparently, it's something that commonly happens with home run with their plain cheese pizza. The way the cheese side looks and the way the dough side looks apparently is similar. I got trapped by it. And what I also noticed, even before I cooked the pizza on the box, there is a specific instruction that says, make sure you have the cheese side up. I looked at that instruction before I opened my pizza box. I saw that instruction. I was like, who could be so stupid?
No.
And the answer was me. This was unbelievable to me. I've done a lot of dumb things in my life. I mean, I've fallen asleep with pasta boiling on the stove and totally like melted a pot and almost burned my apartment down a while back. But I've never cooked an upside down pizza. And then I felt like a fool because A, I had to like clean up this whole mess. And B, because I had actually noticed it on the box right before. But it goes to show you that the cheese pizza is some other people on the post chimed in that they also had done it themselves. It was a weird one.
That sucks. That's like a waste. You can't. That's like 15 minutes.
Well, here's what I did. I got the pizza out the wrong side up and then flipped it over. All the cheese had already done. So it turned into like one of those tomato pies where it's just sauce and no cheese. And I still ate it with just the sauce on it. And it was pretty good. It's pretty good. So man, it's been a week. It's been a year already. 2024. Is it over yet? Oh, and we're gonna have an election and everything. All right, let's talk about our friends at Batch, New Southern Kitchen and Tap. The Sun Sentinel is conducting a best fried chicken restaurant, fried chicken in South Florida. I don't know if Publix is open eligible, but I know that I kind of threw Batch's name in the mix of places people should consider when they want to go get some good fried chicken. They have a great fried chicken and waffles that's available for their brunch menu on weekends, and also it's on their regular dinner menu. And they do a nice sweet tea brined fried chicken. You tried it, Lubie.
Really good.
It's good.
Really good.
And everything they have there. It's a scratch kitchen. It's also a great craft cocktail bar where they have some of their own spirits that they have, like that. Why am I brain dead now? It has the Madagascar vanilla and the
whiskey.
The pecan toasted flavored whiskey sour. That pecan flavored whiskey is great stuff. Batch, New Southern Kitchen and Tap is open 7 days a week. They have the weekend brunches both days, Saturday and Sunday, with the bottomless drink options. It's at 525 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. They have free parking in a garage that's right on that adjacent side street in the apartment building right next door, where you get 4 hours of complimentary parking. And that is a great thing. A lot of people don't realize that it's available. It will make your stay so much easier. And you want to get in there and try some of their great Southern classics. And that short rib, that was the bourbon glazed short rib with the sweet potato mash and Brussels sprouts, a great dish. We're going to be in there for the Thursday lunchbox this week from 1 to 2 p.m. Come on out and say hi. Better yet, just make your way in there at some point. They just got done with the big holiday celebration, but they are ready to roll for 2024. They got live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Batch, New Southern Kitchen and Tap, 525 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
This is Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. It is a Tropical Acres Monday, so we will definitely talk more about one of our favorite jaunts around town, Tropical Acres. We do have a very, very, very busy and fun week ahead, so we'll definitely dive more into that. I mean, we can talk about the Dolphins. I just think it was a Dolphins being the Dolphins. So we'll talk more about all those things as we wrap up a Monday edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox next.
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial. serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Lubie. Max's 9089 West Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. For more than a decade, a top spot for lunch, weekend brunch, and dinner at the Delray Marketplace in West Delray. It's a family-friendly dining room in a comfortable setting with also an outdoor patio that's pet-friendly. American classics like chicken and waffles, brick oven pizzas, chopped salads, and of course, great burgers, including the famous Farmhouse Burger and the traditional Prime Burger. Open 7 days with happy hour at the bar and high tops from opening until 6:30. For reservations and more information, go to bertandmaxes.com. It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back on the Lunchbox. It's a Monday, a little bit of a gray day. I didn't get out for my walk yet. But it's going to be a grand and glorious week of eating and drinking and having some fun at Fort Lauderdale. Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival all week long. Again, get the few remaining tickets that are left. There's a couple of seminars and a couple of cooking demo classes. And of course, don't forget Sunday, you don't need a ticket. It's the one day where the kids can come out, family-friendly day on Sunday, the 14th. Where they're going to have a whole bunch of food trucks and some other great interactive displays and some also cooking demonstrations. That family day is Sunday, the 14th at the Las Olas Beachfront Park, A1A and Las Olas Boulevard, same place as the grand tasting on Saturday. No tickets required, food available for sale, and all ages are welcome. So that is the play for those who got shut out of tickets. I am so looking forward to it. All right, what more can be said? All right, here it is. When you look back at the season, the whole thing got away with those last 2 minutes against the Tennessee Titans. We knew it at the time. And then yesterday, for 3 quarters, they were playing, given the injuries and everything that was affecting the Dolphins, for 3 quarters, they had the game they wanted. They were playing controlled, dull, but defense-driven, 3 turnovers. They harassed Josh Allen, 14-7. Everything was perfect. And then I think NBC showed the stat on the Chiron, the little flashing thing at the bottom of the screen. I think it was at halftime. And I knew that they were doomed right at that moment when they said the Dolphins are 11-0 when leading at halftime. and they were leading going into the fourth. And then came that punt return. And to me, that was it. It was over and done. After the punt return for the touchdown for the Bills to tie it up, Dolphins go 3 and out. And they ran the ball. I know you always get on McDaniel for abandoning the run, but they ran.
It was 2 of the 3 runs the entire half, by the way. They were averaging 6 yards a carry.
They didn't get the ball at all in the third quarter, Lubie. Like the Bills.
They got the ball. They weren't keeping the ball.
You're frustrated at McDaniel's play calling. I'm just frustrated about I mean, I was sitting there watching the game with a friend, and I was like, as soon as that punt return came back, I was like, we all know how this story is going to end. I've been watching it for 35 years. I've been watching it since I covered the team. And Tom Alvidati would say, well, if you just take away those 4 Thurman Thomas runs of 40 yards and the 2 Andre Reed catches, we held them to 1.2 yards a carry. It's the same old story. The Bills haunt us every late season. It happened again. They came up in the clutch. Tua threw and again, Tyreek Hill, where has his head been the last 2 weeks? And of course, his house is on fire. He's not
healthy. Look, okay, so look, there's a long line of issues. What's funny to me is that none of them are Tua. For the first time, none of them are Tua. What I like is that Josh Allen was an abomination last night. Josh Allen was horrendous. Josh Allen is the only reason the game was close. The Dolphins defense wasn't good. They were a sieve. Josh Allen just had 3 turnovers inside the 20
you got to give their defense. Okay, you say they weren't good. They gave up yards, but they came up with turnovers in the end zone.
Field goals. If Josh Allen just plays it smart there, which what Tua would have done, and they got field goals, what's the score? They're up 2 scores. It wasn't their defense. Josh Allen turns it over a lot. Josh Allen keeps his team in games both ways. Josh Allen was an abomination, but he's big and strong and can run over guys. So Josh Allen is good. No, Josh Allen was horrendous. And the only reason the game was close was because of Josh Allen. Tua was not great, but he wasn't bad. He was okay. Mike McDaniel sucked. Mike McDaniel, from December on, the last 2 years, has no idea what he's doing. And it's clear. He's a young guy who's a lot of fun and is in over his head. And I
don't think he's in and over. He's still learning. But he's made some. He's made some
roster. Like you can't be learning on the job with the super. He's not the Carolina Panthers and coaching Bryce Young. They traded every pick. They spent a lot of money. They went all in. This is we're a Super Bowl contending roster.
All right.
He's learning on the job.
There was a lot of unfortunate firsts last night. It was the first time they lost the game after losing the previous week. It's the first time they lost the game after leading at halftime or after 3 quarters. It's the first time that they had 4 consecutive punts in a row on a series and never had a score. And look, give credit to the Bills. They won 5 in a row to end the season. The Dolphins lost 4 of their last 6 or whatever it was.
Dolphins were 2 and 3 down the stretch. I don't know.
Or whatever. And again, they have not beaten a winning team. They haven't beaten a team with a winning record in the AFC. They beat the Cowboys. That's it. And look, that game gave us some false hope. And now they go back to Kansas City, a team they lost to earlier this year. They were kind of doomed either way because even if they beat the Bills last night, they would have gotten the Bills at home again. And what's the hardest thing in football than beating the same team twice in a row?
I don't know. The Bills didn't impress me at all. The Bills literally, it was a Titans game again. The Bills literally did whatever they could to give. The Bills were
it's annoying. We're frustrated.
The Dolphins couldn't stop them, yet the Bills couldn't score. So the Bills were trying to give the Dolphins the game. The Dolphins said, nah, we're okay. You take it. And that's Mike McDaniel's thing. And I'm not trying to be mean to the guy. He's a young dude and he's 100% learning. This isn't the roster to do that. Like, that's my only issue with him is, and I've said it the last 2 years, he's clearly learning. Why are you chucking it down the field? Why?
Well, that low percentage pass that they used to start the drive after they went 3 and out, when, and then they get the ball back and they do that low percentage that missed.
Why?
Yeah,
that was that pass at the end. Why are you throwing to it? Look.
By the way, did you notice who was in and out on that play? That I guess it was what's his name? Claypool was in and
was the guy. They haven't thrown
and Hill pulled himself out of the game there, and I guess whether he was banged up.
Hill was look. The two major things I got from that is, why are they always hurt, the entire team? Like, even in the NFL, when teams are hurt, no one's hurt like the Dolphins.
Because they have the worst luck in the world.
Learned from last year, and we'll be hurt early, and then we won't be hurt late. No, you were hurt more at the end of the year. So something's wrong with their strength and conditioning, and something's wrong with the players they have, that they're constantly hurt. Tua wasn't the issue this year at all, at any point in the season. Mike McDaniel is, and I'm not trying to be coach bashing guy. It's the same problem 2 years in a row. They don't make adjustments the second half of the year, and they don't make adjustments second half of games. Their offense in the second half,
they're in the playoffs. They have a long road ahead of them. They've got all banged up. Look, they lost all their weapons, and that was unfortunate. And I sent you the text after the game last night. Like, the phrase is, when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. The case of the Dolphins, when life hands them a crap sandwich, they make crap.
Yes.
Hey, this is perfect time to drown all your sorrows and lick your wounds and salve them at Tropical Acres Steakhouse. Yes. It is a Tropical Acres Monday. We love Tropical Acres every day of the week except Sunday when they're closed. But the other days, Monday through Saturday, are great because you'll get their great, fantastic service, hospitality, value, prime rib, filet mignon, fill in the blank, whatever you want from their menu. But as an added bonus on a Monday, you know what else you get there, Lubie? You know the answers.
Half off a bottle of wine.
Half price wine night, Monday and Tuesday. You get happy hour in the bar from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. every Monday through Friday, where you get the half price cocktails, everyone, premium liquor included, along with great light bites. And don't forget your loyalty reward club card. For every 12 entrees that you purchase, you get the 13th one on the house. It's one of the reasons we love Tropical Acres, 2500 Griffin Road, just west of the airport, 95 in Old Dania Beach, Fort Lauderdale. And it's not too soon to get in the books for Valentine's Day, Wednesday, February 14th. Give them a call now to make your reservations for the romantic night of your life with your loved one. That's again, 954-989-2500 is the reservations hotline. 954-989-2500. Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we went a little overtime today. We're going to be at Burton Max's tomorrow up in Delray Beach. There will be no Defo tomorrow, but we are going to have some special guests out there up in Delray Beach. Looking forward to it. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Lubie, regards to Shirley, and I will see you tomorrow, and everybody else, enjoy every sandwich.